Hey, Walt here from WaltonPA.com as well as StowGearReview.com, and I am here with another Shooting the Breeze video. And well, it's been a couple days. Actually, I just kind of looked at my blog, and it's been about a week since I posted anything, and you really need to do something about that. I can give you a lot of excuses as to why I didn't get anything posted in the past week, but it all boils down to me being kind of lazy this week, and being very busy with Stow Gear Review for IPCPR. Now, while I wasn't in Vegas for the big trade show this year, I had to pass. I was kind of on the home front pushing out material, as Brian and Jerry did a fantastic job of creating content. I just was here on the home front and sort of pushing it out to all of our viewers and readers and our Stow Gear Review following. So that was kind of keeping me busy. And I'm on an every other week shooting schedule with Sporting Clays, so I decided that I was going to skip Sporting Clays this past week, and I'll be going next week on Tuesday. So it made for a really slow week, and I was thinking about going to the range this morning, but it's like really hot here. It's I think yesterday the temperature was somewhere along the lines of feels like 114. I think the actual temperature was like 107 or something like that. So even first thing in the morning, it's just very humid and very hot, and I just wasn't in the mood to get up and go to the range this morning. This and with the USPSA match last week, I went through a lot of rounds, so it kind of stung a little bit having to buy. I think I bought 5 boxes of Federal, and I didn't want to have to use up the 1 box that I had left. I wanted to kind of stretch it out and maybe add that to another purchase, so that I have a little bit of a stockpile instead of shooting everything I have and then going to the store when I have nothing left. So so no shooting this weekend. I really don't think I'll go tomorrow, but you never know. If it's relatively comfortable out, I may grab the 22 and head over to the range, just because I can shoot that for hours and it costs very little and it's a lot of fun. So what's the point of this video, you're probably wondering, and I guess the whole thing revolves around my recent USPSA match. After I got home from the match, I was kind of hanging around the living room and babbling like an idiot. My wife was probably getting kind of annoyed at how much I was talking about the match that I shot, and she should have saw me, and I did really well, except for that one stage that I botched, and that other one I didn't do so good on. But all the other ones, I shot really well, and I'm all excited like a little kid. And then after we got to talking a little bit, I was telling her that I wanted to shoot more often, and I'm probably going to need to get a USPSA membership. For one, it makes shooting a little less expensive. At Topton, where I was at, non-USPSA members, it's $25. USPSA members shoot for $20. So while it's not a whole lot, and I probably wouldn't make up, even if I'm shooting once a month, I'm still not going to make up actually, I guess I would. But I'm not going to be shooting there every month because they rotate their matches. Some months they have 3-gun and things like that. But at any rate, I decided that it would probably be a good idea if I went ahead and joined USPSA and got a membership. Now, I didn't do that at the club, but I did do that later that evening when I was at home. I was just kind of sitting around and I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm gonna hop on the USPSA website and I'm gonna sign up for a membership. It was 40 bucks. And basically what that membership gets you, there's some membership benefits. I think they have to do with the store, the USPSA store. In addition to that, all of your shoots are scored and ranked and entered into a database, so that you can develop a classification, and then you can check your scores later on and sort of see how you progress and things like that. And that was the big hook for me, was being able to track myself and see how I'm progressing without me having to manually enter the stuff in which case I didn't have that information anyway. I mean, it's available as match results published later, but there's no real way to classify myself based on that. By putting myself in the national pool, I get to see how I'm shooting compared to other shooters. So I thought that was really cool. And it comes with a subscription to Front Sight magazine, which I was really interested in reading as well. So I went ahead and I signed up for the membership. And I got the thank you email. Your membership packet will be arriving in so many days, and then several days later, the package showed up. My wife came in from work, and she was carrying just a thick envelope in one hand and the rest of the mail in the other. And as soon as I saw it, my eyes kind of lit up, and I took the envelope for her, I tore it open, and it was my membership packet for USPSA. And inside there's some paperwork on, thank you for joining, this is, some information. There's a rule book, there's a USPSA patch, and there's a miniature edition of Front Sight magazine, which I have here. And this is an annual release. They do one that comes out, I don't know how often it's published. I should probably look into that. But I think this is something like 25 pages, and it mentions in here that the regular publication is 80-some pages. And it's completely dedicated to the USPSA shooting. So I thought that was really interesting, and I dove right in. I read this cover to cover. Actually, I shouldn't say cover to cover. I skipped the 3-gun article that's in here because I'm not really interested in shooting 3-gun, and at the moment I don't have the equipment to compete in 3-gun. So I went ahead and I read it, the bulk of it. I'm going to say cover to cover anyway, and I found it to be pretty interesting. I mean, this is more of an informational guide. This isn't this doesn't teach you how to shoot better or discuss techniques. This is a pitch to get you to join USPSA, or at least get you involved in the sport, in the practical shooting sport, because it tells you about the divisions and what guns, examples of what guns work, and the modifications that you can do in certain divisions and things like that. And it stresses that USPSA is very safe, which I experienced when I was at the matches. And you don't need a very expensive setup to get involved. Bring what you have, unless it's like cowboy action era, and just have fun. And actually, that's exactly what I did before I read the magazine. So a lot of what was in here wasn't really new to me. I experienced a lot of it by actually going to the match, but the information on the different classes or divisions were kind of interesting, and and just learning a little bit about the organization in general was interesting. So this was, it's informative, but basically this is a pitch to get you to get involved in USPSA shooting. So if you're at like an NRA convention or something, and they have a booth set up, or at some sort of gun show or trade show or whatever, and there's a USPSA booth, this is what you're going to get, and this is what this is what may convince you to give it a try. So not a ton of information as far as actual shooting instruction or pro tips or anything like that, and I'm really hoping that type of thing is in the regular Front Sight magazine. However, I've never seen it, so I'm eagerly awaiting that first Front Sight magazine to arrive, and I really don't know when it's going to get here. So I got my USPSA membership pack. I'm really happy with it, and now I'm sitting in the living room the other day with my laptop in my lap. My wife and I are talking, and I'm looking at the schedule, and I said to her, in August there's no USPSA match, because it looks like, from what I understood at the club, everyone was going to this big national or sectional match, Section 8 match. So there wasn't a match at the club because no one was going to be there. They were all going to be at this section match. So the next shoot is looking like it's going to be in September, and that's quite a ways out. So I'm looking at the schedule, and I'm looking at the surrounding clubs, and if I drive an hour, I can shoot another USPSA match next month, and I may or may not do that. I'm not quite sure. A little bit closer though is an IDPA match. So it's one of those things where do I go the IDPA match and give it a shot? Even though it's a little further away, but it looks like I can mix and match, because Topton doesn't always do a USPSA match every month. I mean, they may, but sometimes it's focused on 3-gun and stuff. So I'm kind of looking at it as, do I join IDPA as well and sort of bounce back and forth? Are the two sports close enough where that I can get away with competing in both with the same setup? And right now I'm just shooting Smith & Wesson M&P in production for USPSA, and in 9mm with a Phobos paddle holster, which I suppose I could cover it with, you know, a shirt like this, button down. But you know, I also have a holster that I may cut the leather on, and just, I have it for a Smith & Wesson. I might just use that for IDPA. So it would be kind of fun. It'd be really cool if I could use the same setup for both sports, so that, you know, it's more muscle memory and things like that. And then, you know, I'm not changing rigs or anything like that. So I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit, because you know, I think IDPA would be fun as well. I mean, it's more defensive style shooting, which was more to my interest than USPSA. However, the convenience factor of USPSA shooting kind of put it over the edge. The club's half an hour away, and they are very, very active. They always have something going on down there, whether it's USPSA or not. Topton Fishing Game is a very active gun club, and I really like that. You know, there's always something going on down there, whether it's a USPSA match, some kind of steel match, or something. You know, there's just something going on, and it seems like a very active and fun club. So I wanted to kind of be a part of that, and by shooting USPSA there, I feel like I'm a part of that, even if I'm not participating in everything else they have going on. So, you know, I'm kind of babbling, and I'm not quite sure where to go with this video at this point, so I'm just going to wrap it up. So that's a bit of my take on USPSA shooting. Tell me about your first experience shooting any action shooting sport. I had a blast, and obviously I'm like diving into it completely, and, you know, registering for membership and looking at competing in other sports, so that I can better myself at USPSA when I can't shoot USPSA. So it's all in fun. So tell me about your first experience with action shooting, and until next time, happy smoking, even though I didn't do very much of it this time. Happy shooting, and I will catch you later.